All right. We have going on here. I've got now this is typically what happens at the beginning of a live. So at this point, I'm getting used to just having folks come in here at the very beginning, getting that message, whole bunch of people pop in, and then people are like, oh my goodness, I'm watching a live, and then they and then they leave, right? Um, it's a Q&A. So I said I was going to stick around for about 30 minutes and see if I get someone that is going to ask a question. Because the majority of, let me make sure my voice is getting picked up. The majority of the live is me sharing what I feel like sharing in the moment. And because I'm going live from a laptop, and I'm not like streaming in the way where I'm using a like a streaming service. I'm not so much able to share my screen, right? So I'm not doing that. I'm just here on YouTube for straight up talking directly to whoever's in the chat. Well, probably in the first minute, so this is going to show up in my live section. And at some point, I will figure out a live streaming service I can use so then I can share things, because honestly, there are things I want to share. Like, I ran across something that was talking about AP scores and the fact that, well, not the fact, it was actually, I'll just say the subject. Because they were saying, hey, these are the AP exams that are easy. These are the AP exams that are hard. And I was like, well, which AP exams did you personally take? Because they referred to the College Board link that has to do with AP scores, right? You know what? Could I? Nah, I'm not even going to mess with it. I was going to figure out if I could pull it up on my phone and then just show it. But that's doing a whole lot. I can just tell you what it is. So AP, let's see. What could I look up to make that like AP exam score distribution? All right, so what it says, well, for one, it breaks down everything about the AP exams. Not everything, just the final score, right? Did people get a 1? Did people get a 2, 3, 4, 5? And typically when a student is looking at if they made use of taking the AP exam, it's when they got a 3, 4, or 5. Now, I'll tell you this. At 3 for general education purposes, I would say yes. If you took people like to call it a push, right? AP US history. That, if you get a 3 in, perfectly fine. Community college is going to give you general education units. Even a prestigious 4-year university will give you GE units. But what will not happen is your major giving you units, right? Like if you're a history major, you're going to have to do better than a 3 to get units. Also, it tends to be like chemistry, those like chemistry majors, physics majors, engineering basically. And well, some of those, even letters in science, um, yeah, it's kind of those sciences that are outside of engineering. Um, yeah, 4 and 5. There's a lot of that going on at. I'm gonna use the campuses that I'm familiar with off the top of my head, right? So like UC Berkeley, UCLA, UC Santa Cruz. That's how they go about things. And I mean, shoot, Berkeley even has a, what is that like, for chemistry, the Chemical Society, maybe AP exam, because they have you basically take. So if you want to get credit in chemistry and I think some of their math, you have to actually take an exam separate from the AP exam, um, to say that you know what you what the score from your AP exam says you know. Um, and so even though we're 6 minutes into this, um, I think I should start out kind of. It makes sense to for me to share. Why would you even take information from me at all, right? And you may have ended up here because you found some of my YouTube shorts that were useful. You found some of my videos, which I need to make a few more just long, like those 10-minute videos, those 5-minute videos that I really put some editing into, um, to get a topic that is useful to everyone. But I'll tell you this, I am, let's say where I've been, because um, yeah, so I have been a community college student, right? Okay, I've been a high school student. um, but where public education differs is what happens when you reach high school graduation. It's like, all right, you're going to go work, you're going to go, you're going to take a year off, you're going to a 4-year university. What you going to do? So I went to a community college where, I have the experience of being a community college student, where I'm like, all right, what was useful about it? Oh, I could take classes, make my schedule how I want, which is a lot of colleges. Um, Even as full time, I still had time to go work. The cost of college was per quarter, maybe like $2,000 a quarter. Yeah. No, not even. Yeah, yeah, that's a quarter, or a semester. Have I gone to a semester campus? Well, I went to De Anza and then a little bit of Foothill, and even the UC that I went to, Santa Cruz, that was on a quarter system. So I'm used to things going super fast, right? By the time you finish reading the syllabus, um, it's already time for some sort of test, right? Second week, oh, you got 4 or 5 chapters worth of a test. But anywho, that's my education experience, right? And then going into San Jose State. So I've been at the community college, the UC, or the University of California, and then the California State University. I've been at those as students, right? Um, then where have I worked? Let's see, after undergrad, I got into working at the high school, uh, and that was through special education, right? Um, Let me see something real quick. All right. Yep, special education. And when I started that, I at the same time started a graduate program at San Jose State. And so, at that point, when you're in your grad program, you're trying to find some sort of um, job, not so much internship. Internship might be, that might have something to do with um, undergrad because you want to, folks want to get into work right after undergrad. But folks that are in the graduate program, they surely want to get into work after graduate school because what's after that other than starting your own business or working? Um, and so I started, you know, I did a little bit of, let's see, San Jose, Evergreen Valley College in San Jose, California. I started working around there as, I had a few hours in um, kind of a youth support program, right? And so I wasn't, before you get your degree, you can't really do, like California doesn't allow you to do actual counseling hours. And so I'd have to have someone with me if I were to be doing any kind of counseling with a student. The person that's kind of overseeing, of course, I had to do a whole bunch of practicum hours. Um, and then I, I was actually at um, a Kiwanis Games. So there is basically an Olympics for students with disabilities. Um, and it was at a community college because that had like the most space. Um, yeah, it had the most space for the event. And I kind of, although I was participating in the events that were there were people from the community college that came to check out, what's going on our campus. And of course, they're like administration and stuff like that. So I was talking to a few, like the president of the campus, some folks from, was that the, no, that was the president at the time. Um, some of the like deans of different departments, and you kind of know like there are people walking around an athletics event with suits on. Okay, so that's kind of telling in itself. Of course, the president of West Valley College at that time spoke, I want to say 9 languages. She's like, oh yeah, it's not that difficult if you really put the time into it, which I suppose is true. With most things, if you put the time into it, it's not going to be that hard other than the difficulty of putting all that time into it. But I ended up landing a position there, and I kind of got into having an interview from being at that event. And so since then, that was like 2013, I've been doing, faculty counselor type counseling, which comes with teaching classes, kind of those introspective type classes. And then, hey, that's not it. At some point, I started working at a vocational program because I wanted, I had worked at the high school and the community college that, what, what's going on for folks that finish high school and they go, all right, I don't want to go straight to work. I don't want to go into higher education. What else is there? And so I try to figure that out. Yeah, that was, what's available there. Plumbing, drone, aircraft. There's some locations that had a drone program, automotive, electrical, or electrician, right? Dentistry. I think there's a nursing program. It was quite difficult to maneuver because of how it was like cohort based. And if the cohort wasn't finished, the next cohort could not begin. That was unusual, but it did get people right into the field. Um, And I'll say this because I'm just kind of just going on since I don't have any questions to answer. Um, I've a lot of the interaction I've got through YouTube, at least, has been from international students because I will make I'll make subjects and topics about just the common um, experience at, well, I'll say California universities and colleges, um, and I mean actual experience on campuses. Maybe I have like 10, right? And not all of them from being actual students, but like constantly visiting and things like that. Like Santa Clara University, uh, Stanford, but not so much with the classes. That was more from doing research there. Um, hmm, not Irvine, De Anza, Foothill, Mission College, West Valley College, San Jose State. Private schools, other private schools. No, a couple private schools, a couple UCs, a couple state schools. You know, it gives me an idea of what things are like. Like the private schools are more restrictive as far as who gets on campus. Well, at some point, like nighttime, like Santa Clara University, nighttime, you have to you have to have your student ID. You can't just go running around like, hey, they have gates there. They're like, okay, somebody has to have an ID to get in. Um, and you could sometimes say you're visiting people, and that works sometimes. But anyhow, Stanford, nah, Stanford's like, come on in. We are a school and we are a city that's not really a city. Um, I wonder if I could. Obviously, I'm gonna have to edit. Last live video I did, I just put it out there um, instead of editing. And this one, I let it be known that I would be doing Q&A on Monday at 5 because I think if I do it at a regularly scheduled time, um, at least if somebody has a question, they can be like, "Oh, I remember that Getting Into College channel has Q&As." And look, I don't know every detail about everything that has to do with higher education because you could be wanting to know about um, how funding goes for an a J1 student. Um, I probably should add some information that people want to know here, right? So I suppose next time I do a live, I will kind of have a 3 to 5 minute intro to say about myself because yeah, you know what? Let's look at some data. So I never got to the numbers of the AP, right? I got a little sidetracked since this doesn't have any official topic. When I have a topic, I kind of go about, I deliver what's within that topic and I'm done. This, I'm trying to meet a time mark because I want to be available to one of the billions of people on the planet. Anyhow, what I saw, I feel like I could go on. Let me see. I'm going to try it since I have another laptop right next to me. What is this? AP exam. All right, so here we go right here. Let's see how this looks. Oof. Oh no, not the reversal. I don't think I can. Let's see. What does it say? Pop out dashboard. All right. Well, that's not what I want. Pop out dashboard. What is this? Send feedback. What is this one? Manage. In stream. Edit. Say something in the chat. Community moderation. Participants. Pop out chat. Toggle timestamps. Anywho. So this is reverse. I don't see a way to really reverse. You don't have access to this feature. I'm already using it, that's why. Let's see what's up here. And that just changes my zoom or something. Anywho, I'll go ahead and say this. Let's just say, out of all students that took AP exams, and this is from 2022, the smallest percentage of students that received a 5 is from AP 3D art and design. Now, I've been in a 3D art and design classroom, and that's basically like, okay, we're going to make some sort of plaster type item, right? We're going to make some art out of wires, and then, or we're going to make pottery, we're going to make characters, we're going to make bowls, cups, anything you can, right? And yeah, I'm gonna say the ones, even the advanced classes I've looked and at that time, I want to say it was like a top 10 high school was it in California? It was. I don't think it was in the nation. It was just a top 10 high school, and they had a lot of funding. Matter of fact, is what, a 10-minute drive from the Google campus. Yeah. The Apple campus, excuse me. And so that campus did not have any AP 3D art design. And that's why I think basically, even in the regular art, AP drawing, I saw that one kind of firsthand. I was, because of my role at the high school, I would be with students in the classroom with the teacher as they're teaching things. And so I know the advanced students, there's no class that's like, this is the AP class. It's going to prepare you to take the AP exam. That's how history goes. That's how chemistry goes. That's how physics goes. Calculus A, B, and BC. I think they even had I want to say they had some computer science, but I never sat in on that kind of class. And so you can teach those classes you can teach it to the test, honestly. I know what's going to be on there. These are the things you have to know, right? The AP art, for one, the teacher that teaches, art 1, 2, and 3, and just kind of all the students are getting better. And there's generally, within the class, there's like, let's say out of 30 students, there's going to be like 5 students that are just like, you're like, whoa, where did they learn that at, right? They must have been taking some classes, which most of them, they would go to things like drawing people in the nude or something like that. They're like, yeah, like on some weekends I just go and I draw people that are still or something like that, or like someone. And sometimes I actually had to do this in the class because I wasn't a student, and for all the students to stay engaged, sometimes they would have to do this gesture drawing, where it's like somebody that's moving, like you do a movement and then you just stop in it. and then they have to draw quickly. Like you only have like 60 seconds to draw through it so you can get the gesture right because you want to like show the flow of things. Um, at that at that time, I was actually doing ballroom dancing because it was pretty convenient as far as me working at the community college. It's like, hey, right after I finished working, I would just go to a ballroom class, which was fun. It was a lot of fun. There were folks like 18, maybe, I mean, was anybody under 18? Maybe. I mean, you don't have to be 18 to go to community college, but yeah, there were some youngsters. And then there were folks, there was like maybe some folks that were in their 60s, 70s, just like married couples, just couples. I mean, some people were like couples, but they were just, you know, then one would stop coming because it was, I don't know, maybe it was getting a little difficult. I liked it. I thought it was fun. But yeah, what do you know as far as now? I said I was going to do this for half an hour, and that's about 4 minutes away. The last time I stayed on here for an hour, um, I don't know. Let's see, what do I have in this? Your channel, YouTube, Switch account. Anywho, Chinese language and culture has a so 49.3% of students that took that got a 5. And then AP Japanese language and culture, 5. Ooh, Latin is low. Spanish literature. Now, Spanish language and culture gives you certain, that usually just gives you I should, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go to it. I haven't looked at this in a while. Uh, classes, schedule. Let's go to course catalog. No, we want the whole shebang. Okay, so the AP stuff, let's see. AP, okay. Those are all the programs. Here we go. Okay, Spanish, Español. Okay, Latin literature gives you some general education, like 3 units in a certain area. Where's the Spanish stuff? Hold on. It's because of how I'm going page by page. All right, Spanish language gives you a single class. It gives you, it's basically a general education um, if taken prior to summer 2014. Oh, geez. So that means they probably took that out. Let's see. I haven't seen that many Spanish languages anyway. So Spanish language, and then there's Spanish language and culture. See, that Spanish language and culture gives you way more. It gives you like a general education area. It gives you a whole Spanish class. It gives you a humanities, right? All in one AP. That's kind of the, let's see what the outcome of that was. Literature and culture. It says there is a Spanish literature and culture, which I don't think so. But I mean, it could be Italian language and culture, German language and culture. Everything's got language and culture. Then Spanish has literature. All right. But either way, the one, yeah, it's typically this. This is what I usually hear is that a student already knows the language and they're taking this so they can get some free units. And that's not to say everybody that does it that way is doing that, but a good majority are. Um, 30 minutes in, I think I'm going to end it since I said I was going to do this for 30 minutes. Of course, I could stick around for another 30, getting through some things. But we had, I'm not, well, we had more than zero visitors. And that's all I can say that's true. In the stream. I bet you, let's see, I'm just going to stay on for like 30 more seconds and see if another pops in. Because people have been popping in as if they see that. I know, because I've done it before. I see something's on live, I'm like, what's that? Just click on it real quick, thinking I'm going to see in the chat area just flooded and, things in full swing. And if I go in there and there's like two people, I'm like, ah, and then I jump out of there so fast, which I've had a few of those. My face has scared people away, I suppose. In that stream.